Okay, so good morning. Today's topic is the effect of environment on microorganisms and what modifications they do to survive in such environment. Okay. So now if we look at microorganisms per se, we will find them in everywhere, right? We'll find them in sea, we'll find them in rivers, correct? We'll find them on the lava. We'll find them in hot springs. Basically, they are everywhere, right? But when you look at them, you will see that all these microorganisms have modified their structure in such a way as to live in these areas. Now, what are the modifications or how they live here is the basic first question that we ask, right? So, now what will happen is this. Okay. When I say microorganisms, or basically when I say sea, what comes to my mind? It comes to my mind that the microorganism is living in a water which contains lots of salt, correct?
Salt.
Salty water. Rivers, fresh water, right? Lava, high temperature, high concentration of metals. Hot springs, again, very high temperature. If I say, for example, space, what is the first thing that comes to my mind? There is no oxygen, correct? The environment here becomes anaerobic, right? Or when I say, for example, salt pans, what do I see? I see salt everywhere. Along with the salts, what I see is the change in the pH, right? So based on the various varieties of environment that they have, we divide them into basic differences that we see. The first difference being the change in the pH. Second difference being the change in the temperature. The third difference here being the oxygen levels. Fourth is salt. Fifth is sugar. Sixth is moisture. And that's it. So these are the 6 parameters onto which my organisms are divided. Okay. That is the difference in pH, temperature, oxygen, salt concentrations, sugar concentrations, and moisture. Okay. So when I say pH, I can further divide them as acidophils, correct? Neutrophils, then alkaliphils, okay? These are the 3 different types of microorganisms which come under the category of pH changes, which means acid loving, the organisms which live under neutral conditions, that is between 6.5 to say 7.5, and alkaliphils which are above 8. So acidophiles live in an area where the pH is around 1 to 5, 5.5, 6. Neutrophils 6.5 to 7.5, 7.9, and alkalophiles 8 to 12. Okay. Then we come on to the next parameter, which is temperature. Now, in case of temperature, we have psychrophiles. Okay. Then we have mesophiles. Then I have thermophiles. And then finally I have extremely thermophile. Sorry, extreme thermophile. Extreme thermophiles. So now what is the difference here? Psychrophiles, those organisms which live in cold conditions. Okay. Then mesophiles which live at normal temperatures like 20 to 40 degrees Celsius. Psychrophiles are around 5 degrees to 18, 19 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then we have another category which is extreme psychrophiles which live under sub-zero conditions. Okay. Then we have thermophiles which is 60 degrees, 50 to 70 degrees Celsius, and extreme thermophiles where your organisms live above 75 degrees Celsius. Correct? So my lava comes under the category of extreme thermophiles, whereas my hot springs come under the category of thermophiles. Right? Rivers will come under the category of mesophiles. Then the next parameter is oxygen. Based on oxygen dependence, I have three categories. First is aerobic organism, which requires oxygen. Then you have anaerobic, which doesn't require oxygen. And finally, you have another subcategories under aerobic conditions, like for example, obligate aerobes, and microaerophilic organisms. Microaerophile. Under oxygen dependence, we have aerobic and anaerobic organisms. Under aerobic, we have obligate aerobes and microaerophiles. And under anaerobic, there is no subdivision. Correct? So what do I mean by aerobic organism? I mean that these organisms require oxygen. Okay? For their survival. Because your O2 here in this case is an electron donor or acceptor. Anaerobic मतलब उनको ऑक्सीजन नहीं चाहिए उनके इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांसपोर्ट चेन के लिए. Metals like sulfur or hydrogen will behave as electron acceptors and donors. Okay. Then we come on to the salt concentrations. So there are only two types, halophiles and non-halophiles. Meaning these organisms, halophiles, love salt. So they are called salt-loving halophiles. So all the microorganisms which live in sea water or salt pans will come under the category of halophiles. Non-halophilic bacteria or non-halophilic organisms will be those which do not require high concentration of salt. Okay? So all the organisms living in sand, soil, air, river, freshwater lakes will come under the category of non-halophiles. Sugar के लिए further subdivisions नहीं है. Okay? And moisture के लिए भी नहीं है. Okay? Now coming back to this oxygen dependence, aerobic, anaerobic. Another is under anaerobic, you have facultative anaerobes and obligate anaerobes. And obligate. Now these obligate anaerobes are those बिल्कुल भी oxygen नहीं चलेगा. Facultative anaerobes are those which can survive in presence of oxygen. They will not use oxygen, but they will survive. Obligate anaerobes will not survive. Okay. Then there is another category which is called as capnophilic organism. Capnophile. Capnophiles are the organisms which require higher concentrations of carbon dioxide. Okay, generally हमारे जो एयर है उसमें अराउंड 0.3% कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है, right? Capnophiles are the organisms which require carbon dioxide levels to be up to 10%. So 5 to 10% they will require. And finally, you have aerotolerant. Aerotolerant, which is an organism which will tolerate oxygen. ठीक है, वो मरेगा नहीं पर उसका एक्टिविटी स्लो हो जाएगा. ओके, सो these are the 6 conditions or 6 environmental factors where the microorganism thrives. Okay, where a microorganism thrives. Am I clear? You say yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt still here? Please ask.
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. So now I'm going to clear this screen. And we will start with the first environment, which is my pH. Okay? So, P and H. Can anybody define pH? How do you define pH?
Concentration of H plus ions.
Yes, concentration of H plus ions. Correct. Now, how according to you will the pH of a substance or a surface change? Yes. How will the pH change?
Due to chemical reactions.
Due to chemical reactions, yes. Or
Temperature.
temperature से कैसे pH change होगा?
Rise and drop of H plus ion.
Yes, but when will there be drop or increase in the H plus ion concentration? When there will be a chemical reaction, correct? Yes. When
Yes,
will there be a chemical reaction either by external forces or when your microorganisms will do some reactions and throw out AMP, ATPs, etc. Right? Now let us look at the pH changes and what changes does the microorganism do in order to survive in that particular pH. So we had seen there are 3 types: mesophiles, acidophiles, alkalophiles, correct? So now look here. Each species has a definite pH growth range and their optimum growth pH, correct? So acidophiles will grow at pH between 0 and 5.5. Neutrophils will grow between pH 5.5 and 8. And alkalophiles will prefer a range of 8.5 to 11.5. Extreme alkalophiles will grow at a pH of 10 or higher. Okay, so when you go at the extreme ends of any pH scale, you call those organisms extreme alkalophiles or you call them extreme acidophiles. Okay, so those organisms which will grow at pH 10 or higher will be called as extreme alkalophiles. Okay, there are many exceptions, like for example the alga Cynidium and the Archeon sulfobolus are common inhabitants of acidic hot springs. So both of them will grow at pH 1 to 3 and at very high temperatures. Okay, the Archaea, Ferroplasma and Picrophilus will actually grow at pH 0 or very close to it. So this example, which is my Archaea, Ferroplasma acidarmanus, or Picrophilus oshimi, will actually grow at pH 0 or very close, मतलब pH of 0.1 or 0.2, जिसमें सिर्फ एसिड है. ऐसे ऑर्गेनिजम्स को हम एक्सट्रीम एसिडोफाइल्स बोलेंगे. नाउ ऑफ कोर्स अगर आप ई कोलाई को 0 pH में डालोगे तो वो मर जाएगा. Similarly, if you put that same E. coli at pH 11 or 12, it is going to die because it is a mesophile. उसका ऑप्टिमम pH जो है ग्रोथ का वो 7 है. So ऐसा क्या किया इन ऑर्गेनिजम्स ने, फॉर एग्जाम्पल साइनिडिया ने या फेरोप्लाज्मा ने, कि they could tolerate such high or extreme pHs is what we are going to see. Now the first step or the first thing of a microorganism that comes in contact with its external environment is the cell membrane, the cell wall, and the cytoplasm. Okay. So what these organisms have done is they have variations in their cytoplasmic pH, they have variations in plasma membrane, and they have variations in the cell wall, which we are going to see. Okay. Here is a list for acidity of environmental examples. Like for example, lemon juice का pH होता है 2, milk का pH होता है around 7, soap is alkaline around pH 10, and bleach is 13. Okay, so on this side you have list of organisms which will grow in these environments. So if you look at Ferroplasma, it grows at pH 0. Picrophilus, it grows near 0. You have Cynidium, which grows at pH 2. You have Physarum, which grows at pH 5. You have Lactobacillus E. coli, Euglena, which grows in a range of 6 to 7. You have Staphylococcus, which grows at 7. You have Nitrosomonas, which grows at 8. And you have Microcystis, which grows at pH 10, right? We have so many variations. In short, microorganisms kahin bhi grow ho sakte hai. Okay. Now, prokaryotes die if the internal pH drops below 5 or 5.5. So what do these organisms do? They change their cytoplasmic structures, or they change their pumps, sodium ion pumps or potassium ion pumps, such that the internal pH remains constant or within the range irrespective of the external pH. Okay, so several mechanisms for maintenance of neutral cytoplasmic pH has been proposed. Okay, so what do my neutrophiles do? My neutrophiles, the organisms which live in neutral pH, appear to exchange potassium for protons using antiport transport system. Okay. Extreme alkalophiles, what do? They exchange internal sodium ions for external protons. So internal buffering can also be done. Okay. Then basically what they are doing, the bacteria are doing, is they are using their antiport system, that is potassium proton or sodium proton antiport systems, such that the internal H plus ion concentration never changes, even if the outer H plus ion concentration is very high or very low. When pH drops below 5.5 or 6, the Salmonella typhimurium and E. coli synthesize an array of new proteins as a part of what has been called their acid tolerance response. So what will happen? These organisms start synthesizing new proteins. A proton translocating ATPase contributes to this protective response, either by making more ATP or by pumping the protons out of the cell. So what is my ATPase enzyme is doing? It is translocating protons, H plus ions. Okay. What happens when you have more of ATP? You require Pi ions, correct? Phosphorus ions. So either it will make ATP, and if The cell doesn't require more ATP. It will simply take out the protons and throw it in the external environment. If the external pH decreases to 4.5 or low, chaperones such as acid shock proteins and heat shock proteins are synthesized. Okay. We will talk about these acid shock proteins and heat shock proteins in later lectures कि उसका structure क्या है, production क्या है and activity क्या है. Okay, presumably these prevents the acid denaturation of proteins and aid in refolding of denatured proteins. So what these shock proteins, heat shock proteins and acid shock proteins do? They help in refolding of the denatured proteins, and they will also bind to some proteins and thereby stop the denaturation because of the change in the external environment. Okay. With this, we are going to stop for the day.